Ahoy, mateys! Welcome aboard my podcast. I am Jason with Jay's Paradise Travels. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. Today, I'm going to be talking about my experience in Bimini, Bahamas and the private beach club for Virgin Voyages. Before I get into it, I'm going to do a little housekeeping and just mention that if you do want to go on vacation, specifically a cruise, which is my specialty, you can reach out to me. I'd be happy to help you with it. There's a couple different ways that you can do so. One of the ways is through social media. I have both an Instagram and Facebook account, and they're both the same name, Jay's Paradise Travels. It's after my business. Jays, there's no apostrophe in that. Jay's Paradise Travels. You can reach out to me through Facebook and or Instagram. Also, I have an email address, j.paradise_travels@gmail.com. That's jay.paradise_travels@gmail.com. Feel free to reach out, and I'd be more than happy to help you with that. Okay, let's talk about my experience here in Bimini, Bahamas, and Virgin Voyages Private Beach Club. So, going into this trip, this was my first time on Virgin. When I booked this cruise and saw the itinerary, I was excited because I was going to be trying a lot of different things that were new. Virgin Voyages being one of them. St. Croix, never had been there before. And Bimini, Bahamas, I hadn't been to either. Now, I've been to the Bahamas. I've been to Nassau a few times. Love it there. It's very beautiful. And it was only recently that I had seen Bimini, Bahamas as part of an itinerary. I had seen it when I was working directly for Carnival, but I don't recall seeing it before in the past. I was like, all right, Bimini, Bahamas. Well, that'd be cool. Be my first time at Bimini, Bahamas. And the private beach club was something, obviously, since I'd never been to Bimini and I've been on Virgin, I obviously never been to their private beach club. I won't lie. I was thinking at first that it was their own private island. Um, because cruise lines do have their own private island. Bahamas, there's so many islands in the Bahamas. So cruise lines will buy one of the islands and then just turn it into their private island and make a big thing out of it. Royal Caribbean has it with Coco Cay. Carnival has it with I think it was Half Moon Cay, which they now are got Celebration Cay that's coming out or is out now. Um, and others, there are others out there. MSC has their own private island, Ocean Cay, which I think I say K, but I think they pronounce it Key, whatever. Anyway, so I was under the impression this was Virgin's private island. So I was a little mistaken on that. It's not their private island. It's their private beach club that is on the island, Bimini, in Bimini, Bahamas. So I learned that, not that it was like a hard lesson learned or anything, but it was just something like, oh, okay, that's what it is. Got it. This was the last stop on this cruise. Literally, like it was the fourth island that we visited, fourth out of four. It was and it was on the last day of the cruise too. The next day we went back to Miami, and the cruise was over with. My experience on Virgin itself, which was quite a great one, as well as the other three stops are on different podcasts. So please feel free to check those out. Um, this one here is going to be talking about a little bit of both, I guess you could say. It's a little bit of Bimini, Bahamas, as well as their private beach club. It kind of went hand in hand. Uh, with us on this cruise, there was myself, my wife, my dad. We had a couple of our friends, a mother and a daughter, that had been with us most of the other times. However, in this one, they had booked an excursion and they were going to be doing, I believe, some snorkeling off this one area where there was a ship, like that got sunk or something to that effect, a shipwreck. So they were going to be snorkeling. I'm not really a huge, I've never snorkeled in my life, and I'm really a huge get into the water kind of guy anyway. So we didn't do that. We'd already done a couple excursions already. So this one we ended up just, hey, we'll just go to the beach club and enjoy the beach club. It was me, Selena, and my dad. We were waiting for my dad. We where we our room was. We were closer to the front of the ship, and there was three different elevators. There was one in the front, the forward area. There was one in the middle. There was one in the back, in the aft. We went to the forward one because we were right there. We went down, And as we were waiting there, one of the crew members came out. She was heading out. She was like one of the crew members slash dancers, and we were talking to her for a little bit. And again, I was under the impression that they had owned the island, where they didn't. They own they own the beach club, but according to her, they also own that pier too. All right, that's kind of makes sense. All right, that's cool. Uh, so, anyways, I got to talk to my dad. Well, he was at the elevator. He was already outside. All right, so we headed out. It was out of all the days that we had been on this trip, it was probably the hottest day that day. Not that it was excruciatingly hot or anything like that, but it was the hottest that felt like. But beautiful water, gorgeous. I mean, gorgeous blue waters. And I couldn't help but think of Greece because Greece has gorgeous blue waters too, but it's a different, a different blue, different hue or shade. I don't know what you want to call it. And it was gorgeous to look at. Um, anyways, we get off the ship, meet him, start heading down, and there was a bunch of people going. And from there, you can do one of two things. You can walk to their private beach club. It is walkable. There's a little distance away, so you would probably be walking for maybe a good, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes or so, something like that. Or they have a free tram that can take you over there. We decided to take the tram. Uh, Other people I saw walking, that dancer included that we were talking to before. We decided to take the tram. So we get there and we're passing some things, and I'm looking around, these nice, pretty, very beautiful scenery, whether it's houses, trees, a dock, water, all of it's all very nice looking, very pretty. I'm like, all right, Bimini, Bahamas is it's a beautiful area. We get to this beach club, and I see a sign, private event. Thought that was kind of cool. It's only for Virgin. It's not like you're sharing it with other cruise lines. And I don't even know if you're sharing it with other people, other locals. There was a resort there. I don't know if the people in the resort are allowed to go there or not. The resort was down a little ways. Anyways, I think it was just our cruise ship. You get in there, you walked up, you kind of go up, and it's covered. There's a little area that's covered, aired area. There's a bar to the right. There's some places to sit. To the left, there's a gift shop. Uh, to the right, there was bathrooms and locker rooms, or lockers, I should say. It wasn't a locker room. There was lockers. That was outside. We get there, and it's like, okay, this is really nice. So we start walking, go down to the right, to the left. Taking pictures both sides, and then of the pool area, and down even further is the beach area. Saw a couple people that we recognized we had met before. Got to talk with them a little bit. They had been there all day. If you do go, we ended up kind of going a little bit later on. We didn't rush to get out there. If you do go, if you allow me to book you a cruise on Virgin and you end up going to their private beach club here, and if you want to be there and have a seat, go early. Go early enough where you can grab one. By the time we got there, a lot of it was taken, and that's fine. It is what it is. But if you go early enough, you can grab a seat, by the pool or by on the beach, because there's both. Um, and be able to grab a seat and have it for the rest of the day. We didn't do that. We got there, most of the stuff was already taken, which is again fine. We were looking around, walking around, went down to the beach area. Um, there was it's not a sidewalk necessarily, but a walking path along the beach up until a certain point, then it stopped, and then the rest of it's sand, and then you go down there and there's the water. I didn't go past that. I'm not a sand guy. I don't like the feel of sand. I definitely don't want it on me or in my shoes or anything. So anytime that I did walk across sand, I was treading very lightly going across because I was trying my hardest not to get on it. And I am not. This is interesting. I am not a beach guy. I'm not a get in the water guy. I'm not a sand guy. Out of all that, I still love going on cruises. I love looking at it. I just don't want to be on it. And for me, for that not being it, I still thought that this was really cool and a pretty fun experience to be a part of. if you are a person that loves the beach and or being in the pool, you will love this area. You will definitely love this area. There was a part of me that was like, man, I wish I was a beach person or I wish I was a pool person. I'd be having a blast. I'd be getting in. But because I'm not, I was just enjoying looking at it and sitting around it. We did walk around um, and just kind of looked at around at everything. Noticed that they had a DJ there and eventually a party. I'll get into that. But we were walking around, kind of looking around. Um, and we were starting to head back since there was everything was kind of taken. We started heading back towards that entrance area because there was a place there that you could sit and you're in the shade. And as we're walking up towards it, we hear someone call out our name, and it was a person that we had met. He was standing in front of us when we were waiting in line to board the ship on the very first day. Someone that we didn't talk to at the moment, but later on did, and ended up having a very nice conversation with him, friendly guy. He saw us and called out to us, and this wasn't his first time on Virgin, and he's been on lots of cruises. Anyway, so he called us. He said, "Hey, we'll grab a chair. Come sit where I'm at." Okay, fine. So we all went and grabbed a chair. There was some. They weren't necessarily the 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 pool chairs that were by the pool, but there were others that were uh, out a little ways that were outside of it. I don't know, different type of chairs. There were some available, so we grabbed them, brought him over there. He was right by a palm tree that was providing shade. So we all got to kind of sit in the shade. We had to move a couple of times to kind of keep with the shade since the sun was moving. But we did sit there in the shade. That was nice. I was just relaxing, watching people have fun in the pool. It wasn't like anything majorly was going on. There was two pools. So if when you go down there, if you go to the right, which is the pool that we went on to, or we were next to, that was more, I guess you could say, like the party pool, where I mean they had all kinds of flotation devices. Flotation device. That doesn't sound fun at all. What are they called? Inner tubes. They had all kinds of those type of things that you go in the water with, and I saw people throwing around like a pool football, and I mean, and then there's people coming around with drinks. It's a cruise ship. Um, well, it's part of that cruise experience. So there was that, and then on the other side, the other pool was more of like the chilled, laid back pool. There wasn't as many people there. They did have a volleyball net. I did see people like hitting the volleyball back and forth. But that was more of like the chillaxed chill pool, and this was more of like the party pool. And as time went on, more people came in. Even at one point, even Selena got in the water, and I hardly ever recall seeing her go in the water. I so that she asked if I want to go. I didn't, and I think one of the reasons there was a couple of reasons. There's a few reasons. I'm not a humongous fan of getting wet, and later on you have to shower, redo your hair. That whole opens up a whole can of worms. And then your bathing suit gets wet, whether or not it'll dry, especially since the very next day we're going, we're done. So I don't know if it would be dry in time. That was going through my mind. I don't, just on a normal day, I don't like how I look in a bathing suit. And that's not accounting for that time where I ate so much all week long on this cruise, which amazing food. Again, I encourage you to take a listen to my podcast about Virgin Voyages. I talk a lot about the food. Oh, so good. Um, so there was that, and it just, I had brought my bathing suit just in case I decided to, but I didn't. Selena did. My dad, I think, walked through the water. She did too. She ended up going on the beach eventually and walking through the water there too. So it was cold, which I'm sure it was. Even the pool, she said, was a little cold, but you get used to it. It's kind of typical. She got in the water. She looked like she was having fun. That other guy did too. He ended up wanting us to take some pictures. We did, and they had food there too. Around lunchtime, we ended up going and grabbing some food. They had nothing like a big heavy meal. It was all the stuff they had were all little portions of it, I guess you could say, like sample sizes of it, enough to get something in your stomach and fill you up a little bit, but not overdo it. Well, knowing me and how much I love to try everything, I was like, I'll take one of each. And we saw Mary Ann there, the same waitress that we had at Razzle Dazzle. Again, take a listen to that Virgin podcast. She was out there working, and it was good to see her again. She's so sweet. I had asked for one of everything, and she was able to fit it all on the tray. Some stuff were stacked on top of each other. They're all individual plates and bowls. And I had a little bit of each, and Celine had a little bit of each. My dad, he had some money left over on his. He had gotten a bar tab. He didn't buy it, but it somehow. Oh no, I didn't say somehow. It was part of a promotion when he booked, which can be applied out there. Uh, so I ended up getting like this blue drink that looked pretty good. I want to say Bahama Mama, maybe. And Selena ended up getting a pina colada. I tasted hers and liked hers better. She was fine with mine. I didn't care for mine. So we ended up switching, and I finished off the pina colada. She had the Bahama Mama. I don't know if she ever finished it, but we switched. Anyway, my dad got a Bahama Mama too, and he kind of had the same view as me. Like couldn't really. It tasted more of like just a blue icy almost. So whatever. Anyway, we did that, had lunch, and that was nice. And eventually, like a party started, I guess you could say. So, as I mentioned, one of those ladies we were talking to, one of the crews, a dancer. They have, I don't know, I forget what they call their crew that has all the. They're the ones that are doing like trivia, um, and hosting maybe different things on the ship. Um, they were out there, and there's a bunch of them. They were out there. DJ starts playing music. They had music going on just in general, anyways. A lot of like good Latin music that was lively and upbeat. And they continued on with music, and then they were all dancing, and other people started kind of dancing too. Very party-like atmosphere. So if you like parties, you would probably like that. I'm not a humongous big party kind of guy. We were around it for a little while and just kind of resting and relaxing and just kind of enjoying everyone else enjoying their vacation. Um, but at a certain point, me and Selena were like, "Hey, you want to walk around a little bit?" So we walked around a little bit, and basically, the stuff that was on the right side was also stuff that was on the left side. They had similar things, whether it's food. There was a pool. On the right side, though, they did have another big an area where they had some games, like a big chess set that they also have on the cruise ship, and they had cornhole toss. We didn't play. I just saw them there. We were walking around, and on the other side they didn't have that side. Didn't only one side had that, not both. But we did walk around a little bit. Walk through the gift shop. Um, I was looking for a shirt. Didn't I saw one, but not one that I wanted to buy from them. And then by their bathroom, they have a bathroom that is interesting. Men and women, they both go in the same door, but then just you either go one way or the other. When you come, but there's no sinks inside. You have to come out, and the sinks are outside, and everyone shares the sinks. And there's also locker room. Keep saying locker room, lockers around that same area too. Um, and there's a lot of there was private cabanas there that you could rent out. There were some people that had those rented out. Those were sold out, and those seem like really nice, because you're in the shade. And I'm sure they got a nice view. It's a beautiful scene when you look at it, like with all the palm trees and all the trees. There's plenty of shade with the trees and umbrellas, seats. There's plenty of opportunity to get in the water if you're a water person, and that's in the pool or in the beach. Both have that. If you are a beach person or if you are a pool person, you will probably love this. Or if you're a party person, you will probably love this. Again, I'm neither of those things, and I still enjoyed it. I still had a good time, and thought it was gorgeous to look at, and it was nice seeing everyone else have fun. Uh, we did that. We walked around, and then after a while, I was like, okay, I think we're good. We I don't want to say it was mid afternoon, and I thought everyone had to be on board around 4:30. I was mistaken. I think it was 6:30, but I thought it was 4:30. So I was like, all right, well, we can start heading back. And we went back to the entrance where we got dropped off. We got picked up again on one of those trams. The trams on the way back stopped at a couple places. One of them stopped at a casino. A couple people got out to go there. We didn't, not a gambler, but that's there. And then from there, the next stop went to, I think it was called Fisherman's Village. And there they had, it's not far from the resort because we could see the resort. And they had a dock there. And it was really nice to look at. And I think some ships or boats too, yachts maybe, whatever. And then a bunch of shops. I saw a pizza place, ice cream place, different shops. Um, they had this big chair that had Bimini written all over it a bunch of times. Very colorful. I think did my dad sit in it once or Selena or both? I didn't, but I saw it. I thought it looked kind of cool. And I kept reading Bimini, Bimini. And as I was reading it multiple times, out of nowhere, I thought of the Liberty Mutual jingle, and I was thinking it for Bimini. Bimini, 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 Bimini. And I could get that stuck out of my head. Once that song gets stuck in your head, it's in your head. Anyway, we walk around, and I eventually did find a shirt. I found this one. I'm not a humongous shirt guy, but I'm looking for shirts now just so I could do the podcast with. Anyway, we were there, but it wasn't really crowded, and some of the places weren't open. And my dad inquired about that, and he said, "Yeah, the reason being is because so many people go to that beach club, and they're not here." Like, okay, that makes sense. A lot of people were at that beach club. Um, we did that, shopped around a little bit, and then got back on the tram and took it back to the ship. As we're going on the ship, there's a beach there that we're driving by. Looked very nice, but again, since everyone's at the other beach, um, there was no one there. We did see our friend as we got dropped off. Our friend who went snorkeling, we saw her on a tram. She was actually going to head over to that beach club, check it out for a little bit. Her daughter wasn't with her. Her daughter may have went back to the room. So we saw her briefly. Later, when we caught up with her, apparently she did go to that beach, and there was hardly anyone there. She kind of got to enjoy it all by herself. There were a few people there, and again, the water looked so nice. I mean, I won't lie, the water looked beautiful, and the pool looked really nice as well. I was thinking, man, I wish I was a water person. I would love to do this, but I'm just not. I will be very uncomfortable trying to do these things if I were to force it. Um, but again, if you are, no, no, more than likely you would absolutely love it as well. Yeah, so that was it for Bimini. We took the tram back, walked in, got in, and then later that night we we had we had plans to go to one of the restaurants, but decided not to. Our friends ended up going to a different one. We tried to go to that one because it was my favorite one. It was Italian, but we couldn't all get in. And I was like, okay, we'll just eat at the galley tonight. And in doing so, we actually went up on deck. It was our last night, and we kind of stayed on deck until we left. And at one point, we came across this one eatery or place. It wasn't open at the time, and I was like, "Wait, this has been here this entire time? They've had this, and I missed it. I didn't get to try it." Sun Cafe, Sun something Cafe. I forgot what it was called. So I was like, "Oh man, that ship, it just constantly was finding new things." However, while we were up there, I looked at the sky, and the sky was just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, just it was absolutely gorgeous. We got to see the sunset. The sunset too was so stunning, so amazing to look at. Um, the sky was beautiful. And then eventually the sun went down, it got dark, we got to the dusk time. You could see the moon, as well. And it was just a beautiful night. It was an absolutely beautiful night, and it capped off a nice day. Again, even though I'm not a big beach person or pool person, still went. I still enjoyed it. I still thought it was nice. It was our last night on the cruise, our last night. The next day, it was like, all right, we're heading back. Can be getting back to real life again. Boo. But it was for one more day to enjoy it, and usually because the cruise that we went on was from Saturday to a following Sunday. Normally, that day that we were there, normally would be the day that we got off because usually it's Saturday to Saturday or something to that effect. This one was Saturday to following Sunday, so it was an extra day to enjoy, and that's what we got to do on that extra day. We had two sea days in between. So before we got to Bimini, our last one was St. Croix. Again, that's in another podcast. Encourage you to take a look. But in between, there was two sea days. So when we got out on Bimini, it felt like, oh wow, here's land again. Here we are on land again. It's been a while, and it almost felt like the stuff that we had done earlier that week felt like so long ago. But yeah, I absolutely, I love the entire trip, the entire cruise, all four stops that we got to take in, including Bimini, Bahamas. And Bimini is gorgeous. It's a gorgeous place to visit. Um, as I mentioned, I've been to Nassau before. Nassau is very pretty too. My first time in Bimini and at their private beach club, both very nice. So if that's something that sounds like you would like to try it one day and go and experience it for yourself, please let me know. I will be more than happy to help you book that. You can reach out to me again at j.paradise.travels@gmail.com, which is my email address, jay.paradise.travels@gmail.com. Or you can reach out to me through Instagram or Facebook, where my handle is Jay's Paradise Travel, Jays, Jay's Paradise Travel. And you can reach out to me that way as well. And again, be more than happy to assist you in getting a vacation, maybe a cruise. We can take a sail down to the Bimini, Bahamas. Well, I hope you enjoyed this podcast and hope you learned something from it, took something away from it. And if so, please like the video. That's always a big help. Another big help is also subscribing to the channel itself. The more subscribers and the more likes and the more interaction, the better. Try to get the name out there. Please feel free to make a comment if you have any experience with Bimini, Bahamas, or Virgin's private club, if you've been on or Bahamas in general. Any of my videos, feel free to talk about an experience that you may have had. I love to read it and reply to you with it as well. And also, please share with others too. The more that it gets shared, the better as well. All these things that podcasters need to keep their podcast going. And as someone who's a business owner trying to get their name out there, definitely is very helpful as well. So thanks again for listening. I'll talk to you later. Have a good day. Take care. Bye bye.